morning. So, if you would join me in prayer, go into your heart space, knowing that we walked into this building to become one in spirit, and know that spirit resides in all of us and is just going around in us, bringing us together in unison as creative beings that we are. And that we are going to respect and love and join with each other in the ways that Spirit lets us join, so that we are bound together and strong in our faith. And with this in our minds, we can move forward in a smooth path in our lives, knowing what is ours to do. And so it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Vicki. All right, let's, if we can get the slide up there, we will have our truth statement. All right. Okay, if everybody will repeat after me, our unity principle. There is one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God the good. Right. And our unity vision, we are transformed lives, transforming the world. Yes, we are. Okay, now we got the daily word for you. The daily word today is courage. God within me is the source of my courage. Worrisome and challenging events may leave me thinking I don't have the courage to face them. What I'm going through may feel like too much to bear. Then I remind myself that as a divine being, I have all the courage I could ever need. How I view myself has a strong bearing on how I handle moments of stress. If I tell myself I'm weak or unable to cope, that will probably be my experience. But if I affirm that God within is my power to rise above any worldly situation, I will feel courageous, empowered, and strong. Stressful moments may leave me feeling alone and afraid. With the presence and power of God within me, I realize I am never alone and need not fear. This is the source of my courage. In our scripture, I hereby command you, be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened or dismayed. For the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. And if you'd please repeat our affirmation. God within me is the source of my courage. One more time. God within me is the source of my courage. Okay, if everybody will stand. Let's have our song. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. To see you high and lifted up, shining in the light of your glory. Pour out your power and love as we sing, holy, holy, holy. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. I want to see you. I want to see you. To see you high and lifted up, shining in the light of your glory. Pour out your power
see you. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. I want to see you.
Good job. All right. All right, now we're going to talk about our many opportunities here at Unity of Richmond. First off, we're having our 50-50 raffle. It's in about its third week. From what I hear, the jackpot is growing, so you want to get in on it. The tickets are $5 for one ticket, $10 for three. And of course, the more tickets you buy, the bigger the jackpot. So get your tickets for a 50-50 split of the winnings. And I believe the last 50-50 raffle had quite a bit of winnings in there. So proceeds go toward reaching Unity's goals and causes. And you got to be in it to win it. They actually wrote that song. All right. Okay. Barbara Hess has been hosting a 6-week yoga philosophy course online, which focuses on demystifying the teachings of Jnana Yoga. Is that right? There are 3 classes left. You can still catch the remaining sessions. They're $15 per class. Please register if you plan to attend by emailing Barbara, and there's her easeintomeditation@gmail.com. And if you haven't taken anything from Barbara before, if you do, you are in for a treat. Lots of great things happening here. Next Sunday after the service, from 1 to 5 p.m., we will be hosting our annual Holistic Health Fair. Entry is free, be right after the service. There'll be workshops, massage, Reiki, refreshments, and more for sale. Love offerings to the church are accepted, and you could help us spread the word. There are flyers in the gathering space to take with you if you want to talk to your family and friends. Carol, did you want to say anything? Okay, a salad and potato bar afterwards for everyone. So, yay. Thank you, Carol. $15. Okay. Another fundraiser. Okay. All right, before the fair. Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be here. The entire fair is going to be here. Yeah, in the church. In the church, yeah. Okay. All right. Gala dinners. Just want to remind everybody, it is gala season. We are asking members to host an event in your home, or you could do it here at Unity. It could be anything from a barbecue, a brunch, a garden party, art party, or any great idea you might come up with to benefit the work of Unity of Richmond. And it's also a really, really, really great time. And what you can do is see one of our members to start the process. I believe you could talk to me or one of the board members, and I believe Heidi is the one that's putting this together. So, okay, and the upcoming gala event is at Carol LaPierre's Gala at the Lake. All right, our dear Carol will be hosting another gala at her beautiful lake house in Quinton. There'll be dinner and activities such as swimming, canoeing, and we are going to have karaoke. All right. So bring your swimsuit and your appetite for a beautiful time at the lake and support Unity of Richmond at the same time. And, okay, yeah. And it's great. Carol's place is just great when you go out there, too. All right, now we're going to have Ian. He's going to sing for us.
That's me. Good morning, everyone. I have made a decision about my life. It may be a strange surprise to some. I have always thought I wanted what so many want, but it's to a different conclusion that I've come. I see water rushing through an ancient riverbed. I see snowfall floating high upon a hill. I see an eagle soaring to the red horizon. And I know that's how I'm meant to live. Oh, I need to be free. I will go where the wind will carry me. To be free, to be free. You won't see me playing any kind of lottery. You won't catch me wishing on a falling star. You will find me wherever I am called to be, wherever kindness and beauty are. For I think of all mankind as my family. This entire precious planet is my home. So let others build their borders, walls, and boundaries. I will fly above them all, even if I must go alone. Oh, I need to be free. I will go where the wind will carry me. To be free, oh, to be free. Oh, I need to be free. I will go where the wind will carry me. To be free, oh, to be free. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ian and the band. Ian, Forrest, and Ryan. We are so blessed to have these guys. Yeah. All right, everyone, I want to introduce our speaker today. Cheryl Fair is an ordained minister, inner life skill certified Enneagram coach, certified Ho'oponopono practitioner, and a master of fine arts. She has established herself as a leader with an artistic and spiritual voice of clarity as a speaker, writer, educator, actor, director, and producer. She's also the minister at Unity of Fredericksburg. As a dynamic speaker and educator, her insights provide sparks that expand the field of opportunity for artistic and spiritual discovery. In the fall of 2024, Cheryl completed her second term on the board of directors for the Unity Worldwide Ministries Eastern Region. She is also a devoted soccer fan, loving mother, wife, and friend. So without any further ado, I'd like to present Cheryl Fair.
Thank you, Armand. I always love this moment where I'm sitting up front and I haven't seen you all yet. And then I get to come up here and turn around and go, oh, look, they look great. You look great today. Everyone's so nice and summery looking. And let me find a place for my water bottle. I'll just tuck it in under here. All right. So happy to be here. I always mention when I'm here that my journey in unity started in this room in the mid-1990s. So I'm just always pleased to be back. It's such a cozy feeling room to me, and it's always so wonderful to see how this community continues to thrive in wonderful ways. So I'm happy to be here. I want to start off by sharing a story with you. It's called Autobiography in 5 Chapters. So that sounds like we ought to just settle in for a while, right? But it's really only this long, so don't worry. This is actually, you might have heard of it because it's been around for a while. I think it was, I've seen a variety of dates, but I think it was originally published in 1977. It's written by a woman named Portia Nelson. Chapter 1. I walk down the street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I fall in. I am lost. I am hopeless. It isn't my fault. It takes forever to find a way out. Chapter 2. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I pretend I don't see it. I fall in again. I can't believe I'm in the same place, but it isn't my fault. It still takes a long time to get out. Chapter 3. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I see it's there, and I still fall in. It's a habit. My eyes are open. I know where I am. It is my fault. I get out immediately. Chapter 4. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I walk around it. Chapter 5. I walk down another street. Always a good hit, that story, and because we all recognize it, don't we? We all recognize those habits of behavior and belief and thought that land us in the same place over and over again. And when we're younger, right, we're always looking outside like, who's to blame? It couldn't possibly be me, right? And then we learn and grow, right? We show up at Unity. We learn some spiritual practices. We learn, that it's like, okay, when I find myself in this place, I know how to get out. Or perhaps we find a way to walk down a different street and not get in that hole again. But then there are things that happen in the outer world. Anyone who's watched the news, things that just put you back in the hole of anxiety or anger or worry or whatever it is that your pattern is, and we all have our own pattern, right? So that's when it's even more important for us to lean into our spiritual practices. That's the time for us to be even stronger in our belief and showing up in love and all of those things that we learn about in Unity. And sometimes it's time to kind of get a new tool in our spiritual toolkit, right? It's like, okay, I have the things that I've been doing, I have my practice, and I'm still finding myself off the tracks, off the rails for some reason. So it's good to find something new. And today, I want to share something that might be new to some of you, but it's actually from hundreds of years ago, which is not a bad thing, right? You know, unity was founded on the teachings of Jesus, and that's quite a while ago, right? So this is a practice that was developed like 400 years ago, called the practice of the presence. So, are you up for learning something new? A new practice. We'll see if it works for you or not, but it's a pretty good one. So, I'm going to share another story, a different story. So this story begins in the year 1614 with the birth of a baby boy named Nicholas Herman. So young Nicholas was born in, where he was born at that point was called the Holy Roman Empire, but it's basically what we would know as modern France in Lorraine. So you've heard of Quiche, Lorraine? So he was Lorraine. So Nicholas Herman was born to a very poor peasant family. There's no records of how his parents kind of scraped together their existence. But they found by the time Nicholas was like 11, 12, 13, they couldn't afford to feed that boy anymore. And so, as was common in a lot of peasant families, they basically signed him up for the army, where he would get meals every day and he would get a little stipend and he would have a purpose. So off goes young teenager Nicholas into the army, where he fights in something called the 30 Years' War. He's taken prisoner. He experiences as a teenager all of those kind of just, you know, ungodly things that you can imagine associated with war 400 years ago. And it's documented, he writes about years later when he's 18, still in the army, on a march, on a winter day. He documents having a mystical experience. So here we are in July, but if you can imagine it being late winter, so that kind of point in winter where the sun kind of warms it up a little bit in the day, so the dirt road turns to mud, and then it freezes again overnight. And all that you can see are just kind of dry sticks of what might be trees eventually. But it's right there, you have that feeling that spring is coming. So he's on a march, he's, you know, who knows, his feet are muddy, he's tired, he's dirty like everyone else in the army, and he sees this barren little tree on the side of the road. And in that moment, he realizes that the energy of the universe, of nature, of that which we call God, within weeks will just come flowing forth. Leaves will come forth, blooms will come forth from what right now looks like a dry little stick. And he had that moment of realization right then and there. Has anyone ever had a mystical experience like that? You know, when I always like to look things up, because I'm like, mystical, what does that really mean? I think I know what it means. What does it mean? You know, it's a moment where you have what you feel is a direct connection with the divine moment. It's not coming through somebody talking to you or a prayer or a practice that you're doing. It's just, and you sense it and you feel it. And that's what happened to Nicholas Herman. And at that point, he decided that he wanted to devote his life to service to God. And at that point, he started developing this practice that we're talking about today, the practice of the presence. Now, he wasn't quite finished with the army yet. He ended up being injured, and they sent him home. Can you imagine his parents after years, like, oh, he's back again. We have to feed him again. But they help him recover, and he's finished with the army. He ends up getting gainful employment as a footman. So, that was good, but he describes himself. Let me find it in my notes, because I've been talking, and my notes have been sitting here. So he describes himself at that time, because he was rough, looking and scarred from all those years in the army, he describes himself as a great awkward fellow who broke everything. So, not a great success in being a footman, but he had, back when he had that mystical experience, he had conceived a dream of what he wanted to do. And so by the time he turned 26, he was able to achieve that. And in the year 1642, Nicholas joined a French Catholic Carmelite monastery in Paris as a lay brother, and he took the religious name Brother Lawrence of the Resurrection. Has anyone ever heard of Brother Lawrence? There's usually a few people who have heard of Brother Lawrence. So what we know about Brother Lawrence comes from this small collection of writing. So part of it is essentially interviews that a religious fellow from some other monastery in Paris did by basically kind of talking with Brother Lawrence and writing down what the practice was that he had developed, because even though he was just a lay brother, his job was to work in the kitchen at the monastery, just his energy and his humor and his desire to just kind of talk with people about God, that which we call God, made him kind of well known. And so there are this set of interviews, and then there are also a set of letters written by Brother Lawrence. So here's what it comes down to: is tiny little book. Here's my copy, so you can see how short it is. So I'm always, I'm always like promoting the books, like, okay, you want something short that won't take long, you take it on vacation, get yourself a copy of The Practice of the Presence of God. So the subtitle is Being Conversations and Letters of Nicholas Herman of Lorraine, Brother Lawrence. So that's how we know about him, is from these various writings. The man who did the interviews, his name was Monsieur Beaufort. And so we know, here are some things that we know about Brother Lawrence. He was known for his profoundly peaceful demeanor. Monsieur Beaufort writes, Lawrence was open, eliciting confidence, letting you feel you could tell him anything. Once you got past the rough exterior, you discovered unusual wisdom, a freedom beyond the reach of the ordinary brother. So, would you like to learn about the practice of the presence? All right. You all are so wonderfully, cooperative. I mean, I have the microphone, so, I could. So we'll kind of look at it in 4 categories. The first would be simplicity. How many of you are up for a spiritual practice that is simple? Anyone can do it, right? So Brother Lawrence's approach was simple and profound, as many things that are simple are, because they're simple truth, right? So it focused on a heartfelt devotion rather than elaborate rituals, which was what was taking place in a lot of churches 400 years ago. Lots of, incense and ceremonies and, repetitious prayers and things like that. Here's something that Brother Lawrence wrote about his practice, or about religious practices in general. Many do not advance in the Christian progress because they stick in penances and particular exercises, while they neglect the love of God. So here are a couple things from Monsieur Beaufort about this practice, about Brother Lawrence. His prayer time was nothing else but a sense of the presence of God, his soul being at that time insensible to everything but divine love. Here's another quote. Brother Lawrence resolved to make the love of God the end of all his actions, and he found reasons to be well satisfied with his method. So, I have a question for you. How would your day be if everything you did was focused on the love of the divine. And everything you encountered, every other person, every circumstance, you were only present there to witness the love of the divine. How would your day go? Would it be different than the way your day goes now? So think about that. All right. The next aspect of his practice is based on trust. So, this little book highlights the importance of just trusting what's happening and trusting the divine even during adversity. Now, because this book was written in the 1600s, of course, the languaging is very traditional compared to what we have now. The references would have been to God, as in a God outside of us, which is not what we talk about in unity, because we talk about the love of the divine that expresses at the point of us. So some of the quotes will sound kind of old-fashioned, but I trust you all to have that capacity to kind of translate into however it is that you language things. Because one of the things that we find at Unity all the time is that Unity has a very wide table, right? And there are folks who really do consider themselves to be Christians, and this is what they're comfortable with. And there are folks who never use that word, right? And have other languaging. So as you hear the quotes, I just encourage you to do the translating that works for you. And just know that this was written in the 1600s, so it's going to sound different, right? So, all right. So what we're talking about with this element of trust that Brother Lawrence exhibited with his practice was trust in the abundance of the universe. So here's from a letter written by Brother Lawrence. The king, now he's talking about God, right? The king, full of mercy and goodness, very far from chastising me, embraces me with love, makes me eat at his table, serves me with his own hands, gives me the key to all his treasures. So look at Brother Lawrence, looking at his moment of having a meal as seeing himself seated at the table of the universe. And that the energy of the universe itself is serving him, caring for him, and sharing all the good of the universe with him. This is the mindset that he was in with this aspect of trust. Here's another quote from Brother Lawrence. The trust we put in God honors him much and draws down great graces. Just listen to that languaging, because that's exactly what we talk about in unity. So the trust we put in God honors him much and draws down great graces. So what we talk about in unity is that the divine is the infinite potential. And what we're doing with our thoughts, with our intentions, is drawing down the good. Like, we have to do the ask, we have to take the action, and we're drawing down the good. And there's Brother Lawrence using that same language, that same energy of what we're doing with our intentions and our thoughts. So, how would your daily faith feel if it was grounded in that kind of trust? No sense of lack, nothing to worry about. How would your day be? Think about it. All right. The next element of the practice of the presence is a sense of constant conversation, or continuous prayer, if you like that language better. So here's from the notes of Monsieur Beaufort. Brother Lawrence said that we should establish ourselves in a sense of God's presence by constantly conversing with him. That it was a shameful thing to quit this conversation to think of trifles and fooleries. Anyone out there ever think of trifles or fooleries? I do. I will confess that that happens, right? But for Brother Lawrence, this was just a continuous activity, like breathing, just constantly in conversation with the divine. And he didn't think of prayer time as something separate than, say, work time or eating time or bathing time. It was just all prayer time. So here's a quote from Brother Lawrence. "It is a great delusion to think the times of prayer ought to differ from other times." And this was a disagreement he had with the monastery where he lived, because of course they had a schedule, right? And it's like, here's the prayer, and and he's like, what's with that? I'm just going to do it all the time. I'm not doing it just at certain times and then I go to work. So how would that work for you? What would your day be like if you were in constant conversation with the divine all the time, even through the annoying parts or the worrying parts or all of that? Would you be able to kind of stay on the track? I don't know. How easy would it be to kind of throw you off? Who knows? Now, Brother Lawrence had to work on developing his practice. This didn't just come to him out of thin air. So here's a prayer that he would say to prepare himself to remain kind of in the zone. Again, this has very kind of dated language, but I trust you with it. "I beseech thee to grant me grace to continue in thy presence, and to this end do thou prosper me with thy assistance, receive all my works, and possess all my affections." So that was his way of kind of affirming and getting back into and, kind of setting up his day, like, we're going to stay in the zone. So if you wanted to give it a try, where would you start? How would you start doing that? And the suggestion would be that you begin, of course, with gratitude, right? See through your day, the practice of the presence is a practice of being grateful in every moment and doing everything in that spirit of divine love. All right. The fourth aspect that I want to share with you about practicing the presence is finding God, or finding the good in the ordinary moments of your life and the challenging moments of your life, right? And Brother Lawrence believed that every moment, even mundane tasks like cooking and cleaning, could be an opportunity to connect with God. So his first assignment when he got into the monastery, because everyone in a monastery, it's a working community, everyone has a job, he was assigned to work in the kitchen, like doing prep work and dishes and things like that, and he hated it. Is there anyone out there who's like, kitchen stuff? And I imagine everyone has that chore that they hate, So here is from Monsieur Beaufort, talking about Brother Lawrence. "In his business in the kitchen," and then parenthetically it says, "to which he had naturally a great aversion, having accustomed himself to do everything there for the love of God and with prayer upon all occasions, he had found everything easy during the 15 years that he found himself employed there." So can you imagine yourself finding everything easy with your most, detested chore? Yeah, right, yes. We'll practice it later. We'll practice it with our meditation so you get a sense of it. So Brother Lawrence did that practice every day while working in the kitchen, and here's his writing. "The time of business does not with me differ from the time of prayer, and in the noise and clatter of my kitchen, while several persons are at the same time calling for different things, I possess God in as great tranquility as if I were upon my knees at the Blessed Sacrament." So I'm sure it took him a lot of practice, to get to that point. But he does claim that, after 15 years, in the kitchen. Now, he does eventually get reassigned to another task because he has some physical trauma and wounds from the army that eventually make it so the kitchen work is all standing up, and they're like, oh, he can't stand up anymore. So he was eventually reassigned to repairing sandals, which was a seated job. So he did get some relief from the kitchen, but he went through it with wonderful grace. So one thing that was fun, I've done this talk a couple of times at different ministries, and the last time I did it, I was at Unity of Charlottesville back in March. And there was a man who wanted to talk with me afterwards. And he came up and he said, so I want to tell you a story. And I'm like, okay. He said when he was younger, every summer, he would work at a spiritual retreat center that was a pretty big place, and he worked in the kitchen. And this place had like a huge industrial dishwasher that he said took like 3 people to operate it, like the loading it, and then things would go through, and the unloading and the drying and all that stuff. And he said he never knew it was decorated with a banner, and the dishwasher had a name, but he never knew what the relevance was, because the big banner on the dishwasher said Brother Lawrence. And it wasn't until my talk that he was like, now I know what it means. So, all about working in the kitchen. Now, Brother Lawrence, just like us, encountered times of suffering, particularly for him because of the wounds he had from being in the army, physical suffering. He certainly went through a lot of that. And those moments where he would get off track, just like we get off track. He talked about and wrote about how this practice of the presence would help him through all of those moments. His perspective was, the worst that could happen to him was to lose that sense of God, which he had enjoyed for so long. And so he chose to fear nothing, and rather stay in the presence, because he didn't want to lose the presence. So he just chose to stay in that rather than get into whatever else. So here's another quote from Brother Lawrence. We must serve God in a holy freedom. We must do our business faithfully, without trouble or disquiet, recalling our mind to God mildly and with tranquility, as often we find it wandering from him. So I like that reference to when you catch yourself having fallen off the track, just bring yourself back gently. Welcome yourself back into the mindset of oneness, gently, lovingly. I always think of the story of the prodigal son, where it doesn't matter all the horrible things the son has done when he comes home. The energy of oneness of the universe is always welcoming. So do that for yourself. When you find yourself all in the whatever that's got you stirred up, welcome yourself back in tranquilly, gently, right? So, Brother Lawrence would always envision a benevolent, welcoming God, which wasn't what, he was hearing in services and things like that. So he kind of had his own zone that was different than the church. So, all right. So we've talked about simplicity, right? Focusing on divine love through every moment. We've talked about trust, which is trusting the universe. I mean, after all, my friends, everyone in this room has made it through their worst day in their life, and you're here. You have 100% record of success, don't you? Right? Woohoo! So, yeah. So you have the evidence to trust that all is well, that all your needs will be met, that whatever it is you're worrying about, that, it will be provided. Think what it would be like to be in constant conversation with the divine. even through the difficult moments. And all of these have the potential to create a more tranquil and peaceful life for you, an inner life for you, right? Is that something that sounds desirable? So, to practice that even through the more challenging moments. Another time that I did this talk was for Unity Spiritual Center of Washington, D.C. They meet on Sundays online, which is how Unity of Fredericksburg, my ministry, meets online. And so I got an email about a week or two after my talk from a gentleman at Unity Spiritual Center, DC, who was like, I want to tell you how I did the practice. So he's like, my most dreaded chore is dealing with the leaves in the yard. And this was in the springtime. So, for those of you who do that kind of thing, you know how a lot of the trees will hold on to those brown leaves, and then as soon as the little buds come out, then they're dropping, then all of a sudden you have to do leaves just like it was the fall because all those dead leaves show. And he was like, I did it. I practiced the presence through the whole thing, and it was great. So we'll do that with our meditation in just a minute. That's the heads up for the music team. Is like, we're getting close. So I invite you to give it a try. And like I said, we'll practice in a few minutes so you get a real sense of what I'm talking about. And, maybe just give it a try for a little while every day. Let me try this for the morning, see how it goes. If it goes well, maybe let me try it again later on. So we're looking at simplicity and trust and constant conversation and finding the good in every circumstance. As Brother Lawrence said, our only business is to love and delight ourselves in God. So what do you have to lose, right? It's worth a try, yeah? If it doesn't work, as the minister that I learned the most from, if it doesn't work, you can always take it and put it up on the shelf. Yeah, I see Melody doing it. Put it up on the shelf of your mind, and maybe you can try it again later. And here's one more quote from Brother Lawrence before we go into meditation. There is not in the world a kind of life more sweet and delightful than that of a continual conversation with God, or the divine, or whatever you want to call it, right? So let's take a few moments to practice together. We'll spend some time in the silence afterwards, but, we'll use this practice to kind of prepare our consciousness. So before we start, I want you to imagine your most dreaded chore, all right, whatever that is. I'm going to choose one because I have the microphone, so I'm going to choose what we're going to explore this morning with our practice, but you can apply it later to whatever your dreaded chore is. This morning, we're going to use the chore of washing dishes by hand. All right, so take a deep breath. And just come to this present moment, just quieting what thoughts might be flitting around, opening up the heart space, being present with the body in the room. I want you to imagine coming up to a sink full of nasty, dirty dishes that are all yours to clean. Take a moment for gratitude to show up. Because look at this, my friends. Number one, you live in a home that has a sink. It has running water. Imagine that, indoor plumbing. Brother Lawrence certainly didn't have that. There would be a lot of, going out to the garden, fetching the water, carrying the water back and forth. You've got, for this scenario, indoor plumbing. It's magic, where you turn a handle and what you seek appears. magic. And it's clean. You can drink it if you want. You could take a bath in it. Right now, you're going to wash some dishes. So you start looking at look at all these dishes. But before we leave the water, I want to take the example a little bit further. Not only do you have this indoor plumbing, you live on a planet that supplies you with all the water you need. And we all need water every day, right? And we have the joy of cohabitating with this earthly presence that provides us with light, that provides us with air to breathe, that provides us with this water. Look how much there is to be thankful for before we really even get into this chore. Take a look and imagine these dirty dishes. Well, how did they get dirty, my friends? They got dirty because they've been used to serve up all the abundance of the universe. These dishes may have been feeding just you. They may have been feeding your pets. They may have been feeding your whole family. Or in the case of Brother Lawrence, these were dishes that got dirty feeding everyone in the community. So take a moment to be grateful for all of the abundance that showed up. The universe infinitely expressing in this giving and benevolent way. No need to be cursing the dirty dishes. We've had the food. Now it's time to be in the space of cleansing and cleaning and doing so in a mindful, joyous, gratitude kind of way. So let's take a few moments and move into the stillness together, right here, right now. And as we begin to bring our attention back to this moment, right here, right now, we bring with us this practice of the presence of God, a practice of simplicity, of trust, constant conversation with the divine, and appreciating the goodness that is showing up in every moment. So we're going to close our time of meditation with an affirmation. So I always like to put my hand right on my heart space when I say an affirmation, so that it's not just floating around in my head. It's anchored in my heart. It's anchored in the body. So I'm going to say it once, and then you can repeat it with me a couple times, all right? I joyfully practice the presence, and I am grateful. Say it with me. I joyfully practice the presence, and I am grateful. One more time, give it a lot of vim and vigor. I joyfully practice the presence, and I am grateful. So I am, and so are you, my friends. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Hi, join us in singing our congregational I Am That I Am.
I
am that I am, has sent me
to
this moment.
Here I am.
I am that I am,
Has sent me to this now moment.
Here I am,
To be the voice, to be the heart, through which heaven is made known on earth. To be the voice, to be the heart, through which heaven is made known on earth. I am that I am, has sent me to this now moment. Here I am that I am, has sent me to this now moment. Here I am, to be the voice, to be the heart, through which heaven is made known on earth. To be the voice, to be the heart, through which heaven is made known on earth. I am that I am. I am that I am. I am that I am. I am that I am.
Great. We could have our ushers come forth, please, for our offering. Right. All right, everyone, if you could repeat after me. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all receive. I am grateful, and yes, we are.
Gonna set it free, let things be. Let the thrill of life carry me. 'Cause now I know I'm in the flow. I'm finally free, oh blessed be. Gonna set it free, let things be. Let the thrill of life carry me. 'Cause now I know I'm in the flow. I'm finally free, oh blessed be. Life unfolds with grace and ease, endless possibilities, and everywhere they've always been when I choose to let them in. Gonna set it free, let things be. Let the thrill of life carry me. 'Cause now I know I'm in the flow. I'm finally free, oh blessed be. Gonna set it free, let things be. Let the thrill of life carry me. 'Cause now I know I'm in the flow. I'm finally free, oh blessed be. I've outgrown those smaller dreams, the way they used to limit me. I make the space, invite love in, magic fills my life again. life unfolds with grace and ease. Endless possibilities, they're everywhere, they've always been. When I choose to let 'em in, gonna set it free and let things be. Let the thrill of life carry me, 'cause now I know I'm in the flow. I'm finally free, oh blessed be. Gonna set it free, let things be. Let the thrill of life carry me, 'cause now I know I'm in the flow. I'm finally free, oh blessed be. Thank you, guys.
Wasn't that great, guys? Wow. Okay, let's bless our offering. If everybody would say along with me. We give thanks for the gifts that will support our mission of creating a spiritually awakened world. Thank you very much. We have some youth back here. All right.
One, two,
Bring them up.
three, We are walking as the light, as the light, as the light. We are walking as the light, as the light of God. As the light, 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 as the light of God.
Good morning, everybody. So today we had Miss Sunny, and today we did listen to some Christmas music, you know, Christmas in July. She was so adamant on listening to Christmas, so I was like, yes, let's listen to some Christmas music today. What do you want to say, Sunny?
Happy Nanny.
Thank you. All right. All right. Wasn't this a great service, guys? All right. Okay. Great service today. Lots of thanks to go out. Our AV team in the back, Natasha and Bernice and Rob. All right. Our music team, Ryan, Forrest, and Ian. Want to thank, you're welcome. I'm not done yet. Want to thank Vicky for the opening prayer and also joining us in the worship songs today. Let's see. Prayer chaplains will be available to pray with you if you choose to do so after the service. And I also want to thank Cheryl for a wonderful, wonderful talk and a fantastic meditation. Thank you so much. Did I leave anybody out? Are we all covered? Okay. Thank you guys for coming today. Thank you guys online. We really do appreciate it. So let's go ahead and have our prayer protection and our peace song. How about it? Okay. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let's begin with let this be my joyous vow. Today keep coming and eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Forrest, are these your sticks? Yes. Do you want these? Yeah, I kind of figured.